morning, beloveds. Sugar's being a little clingy today, so, okay, so it's Monday. It is time to get this week going, and I'm not ready. But that's okay. I am a Saturday's child. I was actually born at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. So, my mom told a story that, my dad and his friend from the base were tearing cars apart and putting them back together. And she said, "You do realize we have a baby on the way. You might want to make sure one of those cars is still running." So, yeah. All right. Let me see if I can do this around Sugar. She'll probably get up and leave in just a minute. Or not. Okay, so it is July 20th. Our title is I Honor the Presence of God. And our Bible quote is, "If I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me." And that is from John 8:54. All right. "If I honor myself alone, not realizing that I am one with the divine presence, then I shall quickly exhaust the small portion of good that I, as a human being, can at any moment contain. But if I honor the presence of God in me, of God around me, of God and through me, of God in and through everything, then I am indeed honoring the presence of God. For one spirit is over all, in all, and through all. And one presence is all. There can be no separation from this presence, no apartness, no division. It is one, complete and total, equally distributed, and everywhere available. To feel this presence in things, in people, and in human events, and to sense that it is all-inclusive, is to honor God and to provide in one's own self a place where the divine can go forth anew into creation. Today, I am honoring the presence of God. I feel God's beauty in the rose-tinted dawn and in the glow of the evening sunset. In the flower, I find the loveliness of God's beauty. In the mountains, I see God's strength. In the quiet of evening time, I feel God's presence. And throughout the night, I know that this presence blankets me. Therefore, I sleep in peace and wake in joy and live in a consciousness of good. Seeing God in others, I enter into companionship with the divine in all people. In the outstretched hand, in the smile of recognition, in the warm embrace of friends, I feel the one presence, and in the one power and the one life. And so I give thanks. With a song in my heart and with a joy unspeakable, I give thanks to this presence. May I evermore embrace and be embraced by the love, the beauty, and the goodness of God." Okay, just trying to figure out where the cat went. All right, so first off, Ernest Holmes loves commas. So sometimes when I'm reading, it's like, oh, that's a comma, not a period. Proof that I do not pre-read these before I do this on this stream, and probably I should, but it's not going to happen, so. He also likes very long sentences. So I honor the presence of God. And he starts off by saying, "If I honor myself alone, not realizing that I am one with the divine presence, then I shall quickly exhaust the small portion of good that I, as a human being, can at any one moment contain." The hazards of the mortal coil, as we like to call it, or the mortal frame, is that it is limited. And it can only contain so much of anything at one time. So when we forget that we are divine, then we are only leaning on that which the mortal part of us can hold. When we are conscious of the divine, then we allow the divine to flow through us. We are not trying to hold it. We're not trying to contain the flow. We're not, because it's impossible for us to build up past a certain point of power, of any kind of power, because by very nature of being mortal, this form is limited. So the idea is not to hold the power. It's to allow the power, whatever you want to call that, the spirit, to flow through you. So that at any one time you can tap into that power. All right. That's what he means by can at any one moment contain. But if I honor the presence of God in me, of God around and through me, of God in and through everything, then I am indeed honoring the presence of God. For the one Spirit is over all, in all, through all, and one presence is all. So it's about honoring is another way of saying recognizing that everything around you, including you, is made up of that divine power, that spirit power. So recognize that it's always there, and then you're not hoarding it, because you can't, but you're not hoarding it because you're no longer afraid that there's not enough. That power is always flowing because it's what everything is made up of. There will always be enough. That's like baseline prosperity, and I think I'm having a light bulb moment here. It's like, don't hoard it because you can't, because it's always available. You don't have to hoard it. Okay. Having my own light bulb moment right now. There can be no separation from this presence, no apartness, no division. I mean, you cannot be separate from the only thing that there is. It is one, complete, and total, equally distributed, and everywhere available. It's all that there is. It is a circle that has no circumference, and it's, concentrated everywhere. To feel this presence in things, in people, and in human events, and to sense that it is all inclusive, is to honor God and to provide one's own self a place where the divine can go forth anew. So he right here, he's inviting you to feel the presence in things, in people, in human events, and to recognize, he says, to sense that it is all inclusive, that everywhere you look, that is spirit. So every set of eyes that you meet, be they human or animal, or that's spirit looking back at you. It's in the trees, it's in the flowers, it's in the, he says in the next paragraph, he says the sunrise and the sunset. And to provide in one's own self a place where the divine can go forth anew into creation. So you are recognizing that creative power of the divine is flowing through you. You are inviting that divine, by recognizing you are inviting that divine power to come in, to come through, and allowing that divine creation to happen through you. All right, so today I'm honoring the presence of God. I feel God's beauty in the rose-tinted dawn. Okay, well, it wasn't rose-tinted this morning. It was gold, but it was absolutely beautiful. On Mondays when I go to the gym, I drive due east. And it's, 6:30 in the morning. that sun's coming up and it's gorgeous. And if I catch a stoplight, I'll take a picture of it. So I got one today. In the glow of the evening sunset, which they have been pretty spectacular as of late, I will get up off my couch, go see it, because it's happening around 8:30. I almost missed it yesterday, but yeah. In the flower, I find the loveliness of God's beauty. Okay, that's the easy one. In the mountains, I see God's strength. Again, that's easy. In the quiet of evening time, I feel God's presence. Okay. Have you stopped and watched a sunset lately? And just felt the hand of the artist? If you haven't, I strongly suggest you do that. And throughout the night, I know this peace blankets me. Therefore, I sleep in peace and wake in joy and live in the consciousness of good. If you want to have a good night's sleep, talk to God before you go to bed. Invite the Spirit to, as he says, blanket you so that you know that you are absolutely safe. And then if you can do that, then you wake in joy and then live in a consciousness of good. Because if you get a good night's sleep, the next day looks so much better. Seeing God in others. That's the challenge. Some days. I mean, there are people that you meet that you absolutely, okay, no, that's God. And then there are people that you meet that go, you have to look a little deeper. They're busy being who the world has told them they are instead of being who they actually are. Look a little deeper. So, seeing God in others, I enter into companionship with the divine in all people. In the outstretched hand, in the smile of recognition, in the warm embrace of friends, I feel the one presence, the one power, and the one life. That was a cat toy, by the way. Not a bird. And so I give thanks. I mean gratitude, right? And so I give thanks with a song in my heart and with a joy unspeakable. I give thanks to this presence. An unspeakable joy. I guess it's beyond words. May I evermore embrace and be embraced by the love, the beauty, and the goodness of God. So our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to embrace and be embraced by the love, the beauty, and the goodness of God. To honor the presence of God in ourselves and in all things, all people, all beings. To honor that presence, to look in those eyes and see that God is looking back at us, to see Spirit looking back at us, and to invite, as he says, to provide in one's own self a place where the divine can go forth anew into creation. All right, I am going to move on into my week. So I'm going to invite you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate. It might be a cooler week here in Houston, in South Texas. So if it is, I would invite you to open the windows, get some fresh air, code word for a fresh perspective if you need one, and get your groove on. Get some movement in, go for a walk, go for a run, dance, skip, sing, whatever it is that gets you moving and get your brain firing on all its cylinders. And I am going to get on with this week and know that it's going to be a good week. All right, beloveds, know that you are the beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, and that you are always in the divine presence, because the divine presence flows through you. Reverend David will be back sometime on with you around 5. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. The service yesterday, if you missed it, is up on YouTube, and you can still catch us Facebook Live if you want to see the amazing songs that Mackenzie and Melody did for y'all yesterday. All right. Have a fantastic day, beloveds.